welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about all the latest Manchester United news today, from Jadon Sancho to Ben Yedder to Adama Traore and Corentin Tolisso, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But first things first, I'm going to get into the Jadon Sancho, the big story. There's been a big update on the Jadon Sancho story, and it's come from a pretty reliable source in The Athletic. Now, before I get into that, it'd be awesome if you could quickly smash that like button and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new, so you don't miss daily Manchester United related content from me. So the Jadon Sancho to Manchester United rumours have been going on a while, and we do know that Manchester United will go all out for Jadon Sancho. They really want Jadon Sancho. They're in love with the idea of Jadon Sancho, which was confirmed by Fabrizo Romano a few weeks ago. We know that, Manchester United dream of Jadon Sancho. He's their dream signing. Tier 1 journalists have confirmed we have a strong interest in Jadon Sancho and will do anything to bring him to Old Trafford. However, in between these reports, there's been the odd news where he's going to go to Chelsea. Jadon Sancho to Manchester United isn't as likely as we all think. All these kind of in-between reports, not the most reliable reports, but just come in between that and now. But The Athletic's David Ornstein, who I'd say is pretty reliable, Tier 2 myself, has come out and said a few things regarding Jadon Sancho to Manchester United which are really positive. He says Manchester United remain the front runners to sign Jadon Sancho this summer, according to The Athletic. He also says there's still a very high chance that Manchester United will land Jadon Sancho this summer, and that Manchester United have been in contact with Jadon Sancho very recently, which confirms we're still in the lead to sign Jadon Sancho, even though there was a few reports saying we weren't. It's still likely that he's going to come to us, and we're still in contact with him, meaning that he's still okay with the idea of moving to Manchester United, and we've been in contact very recently. So from what we've heard from Tier 1 and Tier 2 sources over the last 2 or 3 months is that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United looks very likely. Like, all these reports are in favour of us. It looks likely, we know we really want him. It does look like he's going to come to us. However, nothing's confirmed. There's still a few circumstances. Jadon Sancho right now is still a Dortmund player. He will be a Dortmund player till at least August, most likely. It does look likely that he's going to come to Manchester United, but we don't know. There's factors like, if the Premier League season does not finish, then Jadon Sancho will probably not come to Manchester United, as we won't have the money to buy him. And if Dortmund hold out and ask for a ridiculous price that we can't afford, he will stay at Dortmund. However, he has 2 years left on his contract, so I don't think Dortmund are going to play around too much. But I do think Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is very likely, based off the Tier 1 and Tier 2 journalist reports over the last couple of months. But nothing's done. As I've said, there's still factors that go into place. They're going to be done for a while because of, obviously, the pandemic going on. Now, the next story is about Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder was linked to us last summer. He left Sevilla for Monaco. He's been really impressive at Monaco. Round good player, he's 29, he's quite quick, he wouldn't be too expensive, and we know that Manchester United are interested in signing a striker to add depth, and we want a striker that, would be okay being second to Martial. Would Ben Yedder be okay being second to Martial? I'm not really sure, because he's had quite a good season at Monaco. However, Ben Yedder is, again, a quick player, 2-footed player, can play across the front three, and probably wouldn't be that expensive. Now, the report says monitoring Ben Yedder over a potential move. Okay, this is by ESPN, so again, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. Like, Manchester United are monitoring a lot of strikers, and I'm sure Ben Yedder is one of the strikers on that list. They've probably got hundreds of strikers they're monitoring. Do I think Ben Yedder's the one they're going to bring to Old Trafford? Right now, probably not. If these reports heat up a bit, then maybe. I'm sure we're monitoring him, but I know we're monitoring lots of strikers because we do want to bring a striker to Old Trafford. The report talks about, due to economic circumstances, Monaco might have to sell the player for cheap. So again, yeah, maybe Manchester United want this guy, because I think the type of striker we want to buy is going to be a backup to Martial, and it's going to be under £30 million. Ben Yedder sort of fits both those profiles. Would he be a backup to Martial? Would he be happy with that? We don't know. So there maybe is something in the story. We were linked to him last time, and we did want him. And Ollie talks about we're going to pick up players for cheap that clubs might have to sell, take advantage of that. So maybe there's something in the story, but there's not quite enough reliable people in it yet. But I do know we are looking at a striker, but that striker, it could be hundreds of strikers, not Ben Yedder. Now, the next report came from a French outlet, Le 10 Sport, and it involves Adama Traore. And apparently we've joined the race to sign rumours Traore. Now, I don't personally believe this source myself. I'm sure we are looking at Traore and monitoring him, but I don't think we have any real intention of signing him unless Sancho falls through. and Wolves sell him for a reasonable price, but Wolves are a club that they don't really need to sell for a reasonable price. You know, they seem to be quite good financially, so I can't see us getting him for a good price. We'd have to overpay for him, and to be honest, I don't think he's that much of an improvement on Dan James myself. I think he's just a bit more physical. There's not much improvement on him between him and Dan James, so I can't really see Manchester United breaking the bank for Traore. I think if Sancho fell through and he was £30 million, we'd probably go for him. You know, but he's only had one good season. He's not really that much better than Dan James in my opinion. He's just a lot more physical. You know, there's not enough people on this. I know we really want Sancho. I think Traore's possible alternative, but I don't think we're going to sign Traore myself. Now, the last story is about Bayern Munich's Corentin Tolisso, who has been linked to us in the past. The French midfielder has fallen out of favour at Bayern Munich, and there was a report about a month or two ago that Bayern Munich are willing to cut a loss on a player and let him leave, as he's not been playing regular first team minutes. Manchester United are linked to him, saying they expressed an interest. Now, we do need midfielders, we do need midfield depth, especially more defensive minded. I think he's quite a good box-to-box defensive minded midfielder, so I'm sure Manchester United think, oh, Bayern will sell. He's probably going to be cheap. He's still quite young. Let's have a monitor Tolisso. So I'm sure Manchester United are monitoring him. Again, this report comes from League 10 Sport. It says that Manchester United have sent ex-PSG sporting director to Bayern Munich to open talks. Now, I'm sure we're maybe expressing an interest. He could be cheap. I do know we want a central midfielder in. Do I think Tolisso will come to Manchester United? Probably not. I can see him going to Juventus or a Napoli myself, but I'm sure we're expressing an interest. You know, especially if Bayern Munich are going to sell him for a loss, like sell him cheap like they say they do, and he's still young and he wants minutes, he wants to play. He'd probably fit our squad quite well, give us a bit more depth in midfield, so I'm sure we're monitoring him, but I don't think he'll come to Manchester United. There's not quite enough in this story for me to be like, Manchester United really want him. I'm just sure we're monitoring him. Now, let me know your thoughts on all the transfer news today down below in the comments section. Are you happy with the Sancho news? Is there anyone I missed and I didn't report on in this video? What's your thought on all the latest transfer news regarding Traore, Tolisso, Ben Yedder and Sancho? If you haven't already, please smash that like button. Subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.